Hello there, Yu-tung. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting these essays for you. So let's get right into this and see what you have sent us. First one is about schools being more entertaining. So let's see what you wrote about this. Whether educational institutes should provide more interesting and innovative syllabuses or not has become a point of discussion in the society. I believe enjoyable lessons have more advantages than conventional teaching methods. This essay will discuss these issues using examples from experiences of two schools to demonstrate points and arguments. Okay. I think that's fine. Let's continue to see what you wrote. People who criticize the idea often argue that schools are which idea? You have to tell us because it's not really clear. Because you talked about enjoyable lessons, you talked about conventional. So we're not really sure when you refer to this idea, which one you're talking about. In a logical kind of way, yes, but still you have to be extra careful and avoid this kind of construction, okay? All right. So people who criticize the idea of entertainment in schools often argue that schools should only focus on delivering knowledge. First of all, teachers are not hired to entertain, but to teach the students. Also, entertaining courses are more time-consuming. For example, a Japanese high school launched a flower planting project to allow students to observe the life cycle of a plant. However, the 2-month effort ended up covering only 1/10 of a chapter of the textbook. Therefore, it is widely accepted that traditional classes are more efficient. Okay, fine. Let's see. Okay, now here's what I want to talk to you about. You have two ideas here. You said they're not hired to entertain but to teach. And then you said they're more time consuming. And then your example, you spent about 2 sentences talking about the example, but you only supported the second one. You didn't say anything about this, about teachers not being hired to entertain. So I feel that from the moment you have 2 ideas, you have to have support for each of them. It's not like a pick and choose situation where you say, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to elaborate on one of them. No, anytime you have any sort of an idea, you really do need to elaborate somewhat to some extent, even if it's just a little bit, on one of them. So even if it's just a sentence, you could have said something about this. So first of all, teachers are not hired to entertain, but to teach. So you could say something like, if we focus on teachers who entertain, perhaps the academic knowledge of the teacher might be less, or perhaps the academic focus might suffer. Something like this would have been a good idea here. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so let's continue. Nevertheless, I strongly agree that schools should develop more entertaining lessons. It is largely because, not it, but this is largely because the standard teaching methods are so dreary that pupils lose interest and focus easily. In contrast, creative teaching methods could improve students' memories. For instance, a high school teacher in Taiwan integrated watching the seas in the Crown in her history class. Her students scored 23% higher than other classes in the British history exam. Therefore, it is believed that interest in courses could enhance students' academic performance. Okay, fine. So, to conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that entertaining lessons have more advantages than traditional teaching techniques. It is predicted that institutions will adopt more innovative syllabuses in the future. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I liked this. I really did. I thought grammatically you did very well. There were just very minimal mistakes. So in terms of grammar, you did very well. In terms of organization, you did very well. So coherence and cohesion, there were just a couple of tiny lapses, but on the whole, I thought you did well. Let me tell you one thing about coherence and cohesion I want you to be aware of. One of the things that examiners are looking for is to see how many front position markers you have. Front position markers are those things that go in the beginning of the sentence and are followed by a comma. So however, moreover, furthermore, etc., etc. Basically, they are the hallmark of a band 6 for coherence and cohesion. So examiners don't want to see a lot of them. You can use a couple here and there, it's fine, but you certainly don't want them to be in every sentence. So take a look at this. First of all, also, for example, however, therefore. So every single sentence in this paragraph had one of these, okay? You did a little better in the next one. Nevertheless, in contrast, for instance, therefore. So you did a little better, but I want you to be careful about this. You don't want to use too many of these because they act like a speed bump. In other words, they make the eye pause and not kind of progress smoothly over your text. So you can use them, but try to use them sparingly and instead try to use other forms of cohesion, like pronouns, like ellipsis, like words like such and so. These are some examples, okay? Words like this, that, those, even relative clauses can provide cohesion. So that's one thing I want to mention. But so far, as I said, I thought your grammar was very good. A couple of lapses of cohesion and some, of this, too much of these linkers. On the whole, it was well organized. I thought your vocabulary was okay. I thought it was safe vocabulary. It was accurate, but I think I might have wanted to see maybe some higher level things. There was nothing that made me say wow in this, nothing that showed me kind of advanced knowledge of collocations, advanced vocabulary. It was all very good, it was accurate, but it was safe. Okay. And so I want you to try a little more to maybe show us some more higher level words. Okay. That doesn't mean low frequency, like esoteric words we've never heard of, but things that might sound a little more advanced. Okay. You did have some things that you had things like time consuming and life cycle. Widely accepted is nice. Enhanced performance. Sure. So these are okay. But again, I would like to see a little more, maybe some things that have come directly from you. Okay. Now, the thing that I want to spend some time talking about now is your task achievement. This essay question is asking you, the task asks you, which do you agree with? They're giving you two viewpoints, and you're asked, which one do you agree with? You tell us here that you think endurable lessons have more advantage than conventional teaching methods. Okay, so I was giving you the benefit of the doubt, and I was saying, okay, well, that means that they both have advantages, but endurable lessons have more. So I'm just going to try to think this aloud with you. Okay. So based on your thesis statement, where you say you're going to discuss these issues and you're going to talk about how endurable lessons have more advantages, I was expecting this to talk about the advantages that these traditional lessons have. And I felt like it was a while before you got there. Okay. So here you had a clear topic statement, but it wasn't really giving us an idea about what the paragraph was about. Okay. So I wasn't so crazy about this. I was trying to see what your point was. And then here, again, you have two sentences that aren't really telling me what you're supposed to be talking about. So you needed something clearer here. Something along the lines of it cannot be denied that academic only schools have some benefits. Okay. And then you talk about them. For example, they are not as time consuming as entertaining courses. And then you could have given us this example. Okay. And then you could have gone into some more detail about this. And then maybe you could have said, I don't know, something else about this. But I wanted you to focus on this because your paragraphs really need to mirror whatever you've said in your position statement. Okay. So I felt like you had a couple of sentences here that weren't really helping your argument, and you needed to get to your point faster. All right. This is about both task achievement and coherence and cohesion, because coherence and cohesion covers how you organize your ideas, but task achievement is how well you develop them and how relevant your ideas are. So it's a little bit of both here that's covered. So I wanted you to be a little more careful with that. Okay. All in all, I would say this is a fantastic first attempt. Really, I thought it was very good, despite my comments here. My comments are merely to get this to be really a top-notch essay. But I thought you're off to a great start. Let's take a look at your second essay now. This is one about developing skills and creativity. Let's see what you said. Spending time with children to do entertaining activities has been widely integrated in parenting. Many people think that it helps youngsters obtain more dynamic skills and learning knowledge from books. This essay will discuss these issues using examples from Harvard University studies and research from the EU Education Department. Okay, here your position is not clear. All right, all you've told me is what the argument is, and you're just going to say you're going to discuss them. That's not what the essay asks you. They've very directly asked you a question. To what extent do you agree? You need to answer this in your introduction. It is the clearest, best, easiest way to make sure that your position is clear throughout your essay. Okay? So you had it better in the other essay, but here you have to continue it. Make sure you answer the question, whatever the question is. Okay, and then all right, your noun here is spending time with children. It's a singular, and so it has to be has been integrated. Let's continue. Pleasurable activities such as playing sports make adolescents acquire better teamwork abilities. It is because children have to cooperate, not it. This is because. The this refers to the whole previous sentence. This is because children have to cooperate with each other or in each other in order, to accomplish the same goal. Other interesting tasks like drawing enables the young generation's imagination. You don't enable an imagination. You can enable it to grow, enable it to develop, but you don't just enable it full stop, okay? Recent studies from Harvard University indicate that teenagers who have received painting training have better creative problem-solving skills than their peers. Therefore, it is largely believed that enjoyable tasks help children to be more capable. All right, let's see. I didn't like this word here, adolescence. Adolescence is a very specific age group, and they have not asked you about adolescence specifically. So you really just needed to talk about children in general rather than adolescence. Let's see. Have to cooperate with each other. Okay, fine. Maybe you could have said another sentence about this. I would have liked maybe a touch more development. This was good. This was fine. And then the rest of it was fine. So it's a nice paragraph overall. It's really good. In order, again, to get you to those higher band scores, I'd like to see just a bit more development about this idea. Let's take a look at the next one. On the other hand, reading also benefits youngsters to acquire different skills. One of the advantages is that it helps children to establish concentration. Moreover, reading also boosts children's imagination, improves their writing skills. Research from the EU Education Department found out that reading fantasy novels like Harry Potter series help adolescents improve their storytelling skills. They are able to write a more creative essay with fewer grammatical mistakes. As a result, it is proved that reading books enables it's one thing, reading books. It's one subject, it's singular. So it should be enables youngsters to obtain multiple skills as well. Okay, so what are you telling me here? You're telling me it too helps youngsters. Concentration is developed, writing skills, and imagination are developed. Fine. Okay. To conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that learning from fun activities and reading are equally important for the young generation to develop different kinds of skills. It is predicted that parents will include various methods to educate their children in the future. All right, perfect. It's really very good. For me, the biggest weakness was what I already talked about, the fact that you did not include your position. It's going to be very difficult to get a band 7 without it because the examiner will be reading this and will not know what your position is until the end of the essay. Okay, So make sure you correct this in future essays, all right? I thought you did great in general. I'm really excited to see future essays from you because I think you're off to a fantastic start. I want you to correct these, send them back to us corrected, begin an error correction list where you write the mistakes and the correct version next to it. And then, of course, also send us together with all those things a new set of essays. Keep in mind the feedback you've gotten today, and I hope to see you apply some of this. And I'm looking forward to the next set. Good luck.